How you doing, guys? This is Hybridsteel of the Rusty Nuts Garage. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video. So, what have we been up to? Well, we pulled the Hudson Hornet out of storage. We made it all nice. We've made it all everything. We're just going to give it a quick rinse over now. And the reason why we're going to give it a quick wash is because, well, we've already straightened this out. It actually came in quite nice. Even though we picked it up from I think we picked this up from the auction. They actually had a decent frame on it, and yeah, the colour's all right, but it's not exactly the colour we want to go with for this. We want to make this a homage to, obviously, the Doc Hudson from Cars, because, I mean, he's a cool character. He's a racing legend in the worlds of animated film. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to restore this back to, I would say, as good as it can get, right? And the reason why is because I think it sort of deserves it. We don't want to put on like too much bling. We don't want to make everything look really sort of like over the top. We want this to be a proper classic. So whoever owns it after we've sold it to them, they're going to enjoy this ride and actually be happy with the fact they have this restored nice car that's like, it's got a modern feel to it because of obviously the engine being brand new and all the other stuff. We just want this to be nice, you know, and that's the other thing. We just want it to be a classic restored car. Don't want it to be a hot rod. Don't want it to have like a billion horsepower. We just want this to be a nice, calm down cruiser. You can take out on a Sunday afternoon down the beach, cruise along the strip. As the sun's setting across the ocean, you're just going to be chilling in your car, just sit back. Obviously, we're going to change the 8-track player because, well, 8-track is pretty dead now. We're going to put like a nice CD player in there and everything for whoever's going to own it. And the reason why is because not many people own 8-track much anymore. And, you know, it's a very, very, very dead way of listening. If you have no idea what an 8-track is, that means you're too young. And, yes, this is sort of like a... I wouldn't say this is a boomer thing, but this is a millennial thing. Millennials sort of like... We grew up in that whole... We were between 8-track video and cassette, alright? And so we can't have like old school stuff in these because people don't like them very much anymore because they're too much of it. So we're going to put a nice like MP3 CD player in it. That's all good. Apart from that, we're going to keep this very, very sort of like standard. We've built a brand new engine for this car. Using all the parts for the engines originally made with this car, we put together the 16 OHV. Which is a little underpowered, right? But we're not going for power on this one. We're going for true to error, all right? True. So we have to use the same engines that came in these cars. The reason why is because it doesn't just increase value, but it increases authenticity and makes it nice and makes it the year it should have been, and just with a more modern feel. It's been milled out properly, it's been cleaned properly, it's been treated with a modern day feel. It's just the engine is now the engine it should have been in this car, which is how things should be when it comes to restoration. So now we've just got to rebuild it, and that's going to be the more fun part because half this car was missing when we bought it. So we've got to basically source parts for this car. When it comes to wheels and tyres, actually the wheels are pretty standard. They're just steel rims, so they're just bog standard, like $20 rims now. Tyres with like little skinny ones. What we might do with those, we might just upgrade the width just a little bit to make it a bit more safer for everyone to drive. But apart from that, we're looking at a pretty standard rebuild. We've just got to find the parts. Thankfully, a couple of shops in the area actually deal with old-timer cars like this, so we can probably get them from there and we'll work our way through this. So it should be okay. Cross your fingers, yeah, because I'm hoping we'll be able to deal with this properly. Right, okay, so what we're going to be doing now is we need to put the suspension back together because we're up to that point. I'm just putting one side together to make sure we've got all the parts, and then we know that they fit properly. That's the thing about these old cars. You never know when they've changed, warped, or if they've had damage in the past. Now, thankfully, Steve did a really good job straightening the body up, but you never know. I mean, we try and make everything like work as best as we can, and then if it is a little bit off, then we have to take it apart and then put it all back together. So, I'm pretty sure he's done a really good job, but there's always that little bit of doubt in your mind when you're restoring a car. Always. So, I mean, so far that actually looks really good. Fits really nicely, and as you can see, it's perfect. Right, so what we'll do is we'll bang the rest of it all back together. Alrighty Kogi, so as you can see we've done the undercarriage of this car, we've put the cross member back in, we've put all the suspension back up. The only thing we're waiting for is the actual exhaust. The reason why is because, well, exhaust is a little bit more of a pain. Because this is an older car, there's not a lot of companies that make this sort of exhaust system anymore. So because of that, we've had to speak to our guys down the road who do restoration, and obviously a bit like us, but you know, they're more classic car orientated. Basically we're just getting a new exhaust system built for this car specifically. Obviously does mean if whoever owns this car and they screw the exhaust up, then they have to go and get another custom made exhaust, or they can come back here and we can try and do it ourselves. But on the plus side, it's pretty much nearly finished underways. When it comes to the top, which is all of this, so with the body parts, we've ordered in a massive amount of parts. Now we know we want to do like a classic restoration, you know, chrome parts and bits and pieces. Obviously with like safety regulations, we want to see if it's possible to do certain things now, or if we can actually put it back to just being restored and being happy and seeing if it's all good. So we've bought in a lot of modern parts as well, just in case. Worst comes to worst, that we have to put something on here and then we just paint it the right colours, but I don't really want to do that. I want to make this as authentic as possible. So some of these parts are really expensive. Oh, and we've got to order tyres, which again aren't too bad. There's a load of places we can get rims and stuff for this. It's actually not that hard to find. Okay, so we put the exhaust on for fitting. This actually came back really nice, which is good. We might have to take this bit off when we put the engine back in, but that's about it. We literally just put it on just to see if it fits properly, and it's okay. With the tyres, we went with the old style rim, but then we did put a lower profile of wheel on it. Main reason for putting the low profile is just because of aesthetics. I just prefer a lower profile than like the really fat tyres. And when it comes to a more custom build like this, which is going to be more modern, I like this. If the person who does buy this car wants the original wheels, we can actually give them the tyre sizes and everything else, so they can go off and do what they like. It's just for us, you know, it actually sort of looks the part. Well, in the back end at least. We haven't done the front yet. As you can see, there's still body panels missing. We are getting there, slowly but surely. We are getting there. Now we're on to the last major section of putting things back in. Engine bay. Thankfully, as you can see, we've wired everything up. We've got bits and pieces already in, and that's fine. Now we just need to put the main components in. So engine, and we've got to put all the fluids and the radiator, and well, yeah, we're getting there, and it's starting to feel like the end of the, you know, the finish line, so to speak. All good. So radiator's in, engine's in, the brake booster's in. Plus side to this is that you don't need an air filter section, because the air filter is that big sort of tubby thing on top of the engine. You don't need power steering fluid, because this car doesn't have power steering. Unfortunately, you know, restoring cars, sometimes you do have to sacrifice some modern day stuff. If it was up to me, we'd add one in, and power steering would be a thing. But we're trying to be a little bit more authentic. Putting the body kit on a car always brings out the true shape, and this looks good. The bodywork from down the road works really well. I'm not sure about this. I mean, we could change this up. As said, thankfully we bought in a load of like spare parts, and we've got different versions, which is nice. So we have got the Hudson Hornet trunk, we've got the plastic wing, we've got the trunk seat, we've got all these other bits and pieces. So we can do that. It's either the clean one or this one, and I think because of the way this car is, I think it has to have the name. I think it has to have the bits and pieces. If we were going to build a racer, then yeah, we could probably get away with sort of like making aerodynamic and a little bit less blingy, but I think with this car it has to have the chrome. It has to be like this, genuinely. And it's really cool. Right, as you can see, everything is basically finished now, and that's all good. It just basically means we're done. Yay! And this is good. Okay, we're nearly done. All we got to do now is we've got to put it through the test track. We've got to make sure that it's all aligned and just basically make sure that it's all good. So if we rack that over there now, we'll do the wheel alignment, and then we'll do the headlights as well. I'm going to be honest, that's fairly close. That's not a bad I think it's very, very close to what it actually looks like. I mean, here's a picture up on screen now. I mean, it might be with a little bit more. I don't know. I think that's really close. Maybe. Let's just bring a bit more colour into it. Yeah? No? Maybe? Should we have a look at our library? And there we go. So there was one thing about this that I wasn't a big fan of. I have two different choices. Number one, I could go with the standard tyre and standard everything, and that's fine. I didn't choose the standard tyre. I chose the road tyre. Now, there are two types of Doc Hudson. There are two types of like wheels as well. There's the wheel that he uses at the end of the film, which is a red rim, which isn't too bad. I can do red rims. Or there's the white wall tyre. Now, I think with the white wall tyre, I think this car would look a lot better. So I'm going to go and get some white walls. We're going to take these rims off, and then we're going to do the wheels again. Main reason why is I want it to feel a bit more authentic. As said, I like the rims, but even then, it's still. I think it needs white walls. I think that looks a little bit better. Definitely. But there we go. It's all good and it's all done. And I think we did ourselves proud on this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to chuck this up on the internet. It's going to be up for sale. Hopefully by the next time you come and visit the Rusty Nuts Garage, this car will be sold and we'll be cruising our way to another car. So thank you very much for kicking by. This has been Hybridsteel. I want to say thank you very much for kicking. It'll be awesome to see you in another one. Peace out. Have fun. Enjoy everything you guys do. Bye bye for now.